I was 7. Maybe 8. Old enough to feel brave. Too young to understand death. It was one of those heavy, humid summer days in South Georgia, the kind where the air sticks to your skin and cicadas scream from the trees like something is warning you about the heat. My family had this place we used to go. It wasn't a real lake. It wasn't natural. It was man-made, a giant dugout pond that someone decided to turn into a beach paradise. They dumped white sand around the edges. Planted palm trees that didn't quite belong there. Strung up faded umbrellas and picnic tables. You paid admission at a little wooden shack, drove your car in, parked close to the water, grilled hot dogs, and let the kids swim all day. To a child, it felt like a tropical resort. To an adult looking back, it feels like a lawsuit waiting to happen. There was this massive waterslide, tall, crooked, rust creeping up its frame. Kids flew down that thing way too fast. I remember seeing scraped knees, busted lips, and at least one kid carried off crying with blood dripping down his shin. But none of that scared me. What scared me happened in the quiet part of the lake. About 30 yards from where my family always parked, there was a tiny sand island. Just a clump of raised sand sitting in the middle of the water. It wasn't big. Maybe wide enough for 2 kids to sit cross-legged. To me, it was an adventure. I wasn't a strong swimmer. The water in that area was just a little deeper than my height. If I stretched, I could barely keep my mouth above water. So instead of swimming properly, I bounced. I jump up, push off the sandy bottom, come up for air, then sink and repeat. A slow, awkward rhythm. Bounce. Breathe. Sink. Push. Repeat. I did that over and over, making my way toward that island. The water was murky. You couldn't see your feet. The sand was soft and uneven beneath you. Sometimes you stepped on rocks. Sometimes it felt like weeds brushing your ankles. But that day, something felt different. I was maybe halfway to the island when it happened. I came down from a bounce and planted my foot onto something solid. Not sand. Not rock. Something rounded. Soft, but firm. My toes curled instinctively. And that's when I felt it. A shape. A nose. My big toe slid down something that felt unmistakably like the bridge of a nose. My foot shifted, and my toes brushed across something that felt like a forehead. Then, the part that has never left me. Hair. Fine, soft hair flowing between my toes. Not weeds. Not grass. Hair. It moved with the water. Smooth strands slipping between my toes as if alive. For a split second, I froze underwater. Then pure instinct took over. I pushed off whatever it was with all my strength and shot upward, gasping for air. My heart was pounding so loud I could hear it in my ears. I didn't scream. I didn't tell anyone. I just bounced backward as fast as I could toward shore. Bounce. Push. Don't look down. Don't think. When I reached land, I walked out slowly, trying to act normal. But I didn't go back in. I remember sitting in the sand after that. My body felt cold even though the air was hot. Then I heard it. Parents shouting. Not playful yelling. Not a time to eat. Panic shouting. They were calling a name. A little boy's name. Over and over. Has anyone seen him? Did he come this way? He was just right here. You could hear the change in their voices. The sharp edge of fear creeping in. People started walking into the water. Then wading. Then diving under. Someone pointed toward the island. Toward the exact spot I had just come from. A man dove down. Seconds passed. Then more seconds. He came up shaking his head. Another man went down. This time, when he surfaced, he wasn't alone. They brought him up right there. Right in front of that small sand island. The same place my foot had come down. The same place I felt that nose. That hair. I didn't understand at first. I just saw adults rushing. Someone screaming. A mother collapsing into the sand. They laid the little boy on the shore. I remember his skin. Too pale. Too still. Someone tried CPR. I remember the rhythmic pushing on his chest. The crowd growing silent except for sobbing and heavy breathing. And slowly, the realization crept into my child brain. That thing I stepped on. That wasn't imagination. It wasn't driftwood. It wasn't weeds. It was him. He had been under the water. And I had stepped on his face. Kids are strange. We don't process trauma the way adults do. I didn't cry. I didn't tell my parents what I felt. I didn't connect the dots fully until later. But something inside me locked that sensation away. I'm 47 now. I've lived a full life. Jobs. Bills. Stress. Responsibilities. But every once in a while, usually in the shower, or stepping into a lake, or walking barefoot in grass, I remember that feeling. The soft bridge of a nose under my toe. The fine strands of hair floating between my toes. It wasn't horror movie scary. It was real. Heavy. Human. And it never left me. Sometimes I wonder how long he had been under there. Was it seconds before I stepped on him? Minutes? Did I step on him right after he sank? Did he know he was drowning? Those are thoughts that come later in life. At 7 years old, I just knew something felt wrong in the water. And I trusted that instinct. I never swam out to that island again. In fact, I don't think we ever went back to that place. It's probably gone now. Closed down. Forgotten. But that tiny sand island still exists somewhere in my memory. 30 yards from shore. In murky Georgia water. Where a little boy disappeared beneath the surface. And I stepped on him without knowing.